In 1962, tensions between the USA and the Soviet Union are at an all-time high, with rumors spreading that the Soviets might drop an atomic bomb soon. Americans begin to panic, and building bomb shelters in backyards becomes a popular trend. Dr. Calvin works tirelessly on his bunker, stocking it with enough supplies to last for decades. One evening, Calvin and his pregnant wife Helen throw a party at their home. The gathering is lively until they see a broadcast from President Kennedy on TV, hinting at a secret mission against the Soviet Union. The lack of details sends Calvin into a panic, and he quickly kicks out all the guests and drags Helen into the bunker. Moments later, an aircraft flying over the city experiences a mechanical failure, and the pilot loses control. The plane crashes directly into Calvin's house, completely destroying it. Inside the bunker, Calvin hears the loud crash and feels the ground shaking. Convinced that a nuclear war has begun, he seals the door. He explains to Helen that it's impossible to open the door manually. It's set to unlock automatically in 35 years, which is how long it takes for nuclear particles to dissipate in the atmosphere. Meanwhile, authorities arrive to inspect the crash site. Unable to find any survivors, they assume Calvin and Helen died in the accident. As the days pass, Calvin adjusts to bunker life, but Helen despises it. Eventually, Helen's water breaks, and with Calvin's help, she gives birth to a baby boy named Adam. Time goes on, and Adam grows into a bright, curious child. Calvin takes it upon himself to teach Adam everything he knows, hoping Adam will one day restore the country to its former glory. Adam learns academics, French, Latin, boxing, and even how to navigate the stock market. Helen teaches Adam household chores, dancing, and other practical skills. Calvin also passes down his baseball card collection and attempts to explain sports, though Adam struggles to imagine so many people in one place. Both parents raise Adam to have excellent manners, never cursing or exposing him to the harshness of the outside world. Adam grows up naive but kind-hearted and well-mannered. The family finds a daily routine that works for them. They pretend to shop in their mini-mart, fake fish in a tank, care for plants, and even build Adam his own room. They spend their free time reading, playing games, and enjoying their cozy lounge area. Above ground, the land where their house once stood changes hands over the decades. It becomes a diner, then a pizzeria, and later a nightclub. By 1995, Adam turns 33, and his parents give him homemade gifts. When he blows out the candles on his birthday cake, he wishes to find his perfect partner someday. Helen mentions they only have 2 years left in the bunker, but Calvin says he'll miss the place when the time comes. Frustrated, Helen storms into another room and screams out her anger. By 1997, the 35 years are finally up, and the door unlocks itself. The family is thrilled to leave, but Calvin insists on checking things out first to ensure it's safe. Dressed in a radiation suit, Calvin takes the elevator up and emerges in what is now an abandoned building, occupied by a group of drunk homeless people. When Melker sees the glowing figure of Calvin rising from the ground, he faints from shock. Calvin steps outside and is overwhelmed by how much the world has changed. He sees graffiti everywhere, people openly handling guns, adult stores selling all kinds of inappropriate merchandise, and strange-looking people speaking in ways he can't understand. Horrified, Calvin runs back to the bunker, telling his family that while the air is safe to breathe, the outside world is still a post-apocalyptic wasteland full of dangerous mutants. Calvin's grim report makes Helen finally lose her temper. She screams at him, saying she's fed up with being locked underground and that Adam needs to experience nature. Calvin refuses to budge, and their argument ends with him having a heart attack. With Calvin unwell and their supplies running low, Helen decides to send Adam out to gather enough food to last a few more years. She gives him cash and a shopping list, along with strict instructions to stay at the Holiday Inn and look for a nice normal girl who isn't a mutant. Before Adam leaves, Calvin warns him to avoid the adult video store, claiming it's full of dangerous radiation. Once packed and ready, Adam finally steps outside. To his surprise, he finds Melker has created a small temple around the elevator, worshipping Calvin's family as holy beings. Adam steps into the outside world for the first time and is amazed by everything he sees: the open sky, tall buildings, trees, and people. Overwhelmed with excitement, he greets everyone he passes, though his overly polite and old-fashioned language makes people think he's strange. When he sees a woman with darker skin, he accidentally uses an outdated slur in his excitement to meet someone different from himself, startling her. Passing by the adult video store, Adam covers his nose and warns others to stay away from its supposed radiation. He then boards a bus, feeling nervous as the vehicle moves for the first time in his life. Attempting to chat with the passengers, Adam's old-fashioned vocabulary makes him difficult to understand, and they dismiss him as odd. Eventually, Adam reaches a grocery store and starts collecting everything from the shopping list. When the butcher suggests having a larger order delivered, Adam realizes he has no idea how to return to the bunker. Panicking, he leaves the store and spends the rest of the day riding various buses in a desperate attempt to find his way back, but has no luck. Adam is running low on cash, so he stops by a hobby shop to sell his father's baseball cards. The shop owner immediately recognizes how valuable the cards are, but tries to scam Adam by offering only $500 for the whole set. Before Adam can agree, the shop assistant Eve steps in and exposes the scam, explaining that each card is worth between $4,000 and $6,000. She insults her boss and quits on the spot, leaving Adam impressed by her boldness and sparking a crush. Outside the shop, Adam asks Eve to take him to the Holiday Inn. At first, she refuses and tries to leave, but when Adam offers her 2 baseball cards as payment, she changes her mind. During the ride, Adam picks all the old songs on the radio, which Eve finds a bit strange. Once they reach the hotel, Eve drops him off without saying much and drives away. In his hotel room, Adam is amazed by the view from the 18th floor and spends the evening marveling at the color television. He makes sure to wake up early the next day just to watch the sunrise. That morning, Eve returns to the hotel feeling guilty about taking such valuable cards for a simple task. She gives them back and tries to leave, but Adam stops her with a new offer. He'll pay her to be his assistant and help him gather all the supplies for the bunker. Eve agrees, and they start shopping together, hiring multiple trucks to carry enough supplies for 2 years. Adam also casually mentions he's looking for a wife, which catches Eve off guard. After shopping, Eve brings Adam to her house, where he meets her roommate Troy. Troy immediately starts asking Adam lots of questions. When he notices Adam's fascination with all the modern technology, Adam claims he's from Alaska and says he's in town for a business trip. Meanwhile, back at the bunker, Helen can't resist her curiosity and takes the elevator to the surface. But when she steps out and sees Melker and his friends acting strange, she quickly retreats back underground. The next day, Troy decides Adam needs a wardrobe upgrade, so he gives him a complete fashion makeover that leaves Adam looking even more handsome. Over the following days, Eve and Troy introduce Adam to a bunch of new experiences. They teach him how to dance to modern music, take him skateboarding, and show him the ocean. Adam is so thrilled by the ocean that he jumps right into the water without hesitation. He also watches a live baseball game and finally understands why his father loves the sport so much. One afternoon, it begins to rain, and Adam stands outside in total wonder, experiencing rain for the first time. When Eve comes out to check on him, Adam hugs her tightly, calling it a miracle and saying his father would have loved to see it. That evening, Eve and Troy bring Adam to an old-fashioned swing club to help him find a wife. They tell him just to be himself. Women at the club are instantly drawn to Adam because of his kind personality, respectful manners, and good looks. Eve's rival quickly catches Adam's attention, and they start talking, which makes Eve jealous. She pulls Adam aside and tells him he needs a sweet woman in his life, not someone like her rival. After their talk, Adam asks another woman to dance, and they steal the spotlight with his incredible dancing skills, impressing the entire crowd. Eve tries to ignore her jealousy and chats with her ex-boyfriend, but he starts mocking Adam and taunts him into a fight. Using his boxing skills, Adam quickly intimidates the guy, making him back off. Annoyed by all the drama, Eve leaves the club alone. Later, Troy tells her that Adam left with her rival, which makes Eve realize she has feelings for him. She rushes to find Adam jumping into her car, but before she can drive away, she hears someone knocking on her window. Startled, she falls out of the car. It's Adam, and he helps her back inside to treat her scratch. While cleaning it, Adam explains he turned down the other women because he couldn't stop thinking about her. He confesses his feelings, and they finally kiss. Feeling closer now, Adam decides to tell Eve the truth about his family and the bunker. He even asks her to marry him so they can live together underground. However, Eve thinks Adam is delusional and had been hiding it well. Hurt and confused, she kicks him out of her house. The next day, Troy takes Adam out to teach him how to drive. While they're driving, Adam spots the adult video store from before and follows the road. This leads him to the building on top of his bunker, where Melker has created a whole religion around the elevator. Excited, Adam rushes back to Eve to share the news, but finds 2 psychiatrists waiting for him instead. At first, Adam pretends to cooperate, but when he gets the chance, he runs. One of the doctors chases him while the other calls the police, but Eve stops her, realizing she made a mistake. As Adam runs by, he hands Eve his hotel key, telling her to pay his bill with the baseball cards before escaping in a rented truck. In his rush, he accidentally hits the psychiatrist's car. Later, Eve and Troy go to Adam's hotel room and discover many items from the 60s, including Calvin's stock certificates, which are now worth millions. This confirms that Adam was telling the truth. Meanwhile, Adam makes it back to the bunker and reunites with his parents after being gone for 2 weeks. He tells them the outside world is beautiful and helps bring in the supplies, which are being loaded by Melker and his followers. Back in the city, Eve is desperate to find Adam. Troy takes her to the adult video store, and together they stomp on the floor, hoping to uncover the bunker's location. Of course, they don't find anything and decide to leave, but as they're heading out, they spot Adam about to enter the neighboring building. Eve immediately runs to him, hugging and kissing him. Adam invites her to come meet his parents. Calvin and Helen warmly welcome Eve and enjoy dinner together. Calvin even takes Adam aside for a talk about the birds and the bees. Before making any big decisions about their future, Adam asks his parents to wait 2 months. Over the next few weeks, Adam and Eve sell Calvin's stocks and use the money to build a new house in the countryside, designed to look just like Adam's childhood home. Melker helps out too after turning his life around and quitting drinking. Once the new home is finished, Adam brings his parents to see it, explaining that this way they can slowly adjust to the modern world. Later, while Helen and Eve prepare dinner, Adam finally tells Calvin the truth. There had never been a nuclear war. The bomb was actually a plane that had crashed into their house, and the Soviet Union had collapsed years ago. Despite hearing this, Calvin refuses to believe it and immediately starts planning to build a new bunker, just in case. Don't forget to subscribe. Here's some more interesting story you don't want to miss.